Listening to the sound of their thundering hooves, it's hard to appreciate just how fragile equine athletes can be. Lower leg fractures are a major welfare concern in horses that race or jump competitively, but can really happen in any horse. Depending on the severity, those injuries can cost them their careers or even lives.
We have made a lot of strides in terms of our ability to repair fractures over the past 20-25 years, but we still are dealing with a 1,000-pound animal that has to be able to stand immediately after surgery, and so there are fractures that we just can't fix.
But maybe they can be prevented. Dr. McCoy's Morris Animal Foundation-funded team at the University of Illinois recently began a study to evaluate the long-term effects of a moderate exercise plan on bone development in foals. Horses aren't fully skeletally mature until they're about 4 years old, but those that race often begin doing so at half that age. And in previous foundation-funded research, McCoy found that pasture-raised foals were inactive about 85% of the time, which doesn't prepare their legs for the stresses they might face later in life. McCoy is drawing somewhat from human medicine, where studies show that children who exercise are less prone to injury as adults, to help horses.
So the question that we're trying to ask is there something that we can do early in life that will set them up to be more resistant to fractures at an older age?
Over the next 2 summers, her team will test 12 standard-bred foals from the university's horse farm, beginning when each foal is 8 weeks old. The process begins with team members performing baseline CT scans on each foal's forelimbs to create a 3-dimensional picture, to get basic information on their bone density and volume. Then the foals are placed into one of 2 groups, either controls that just live in their pasture, like most foals normally do, or exercised foals. They'll undergo a moderate exercise regime, trotting with their mother and team members for about 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, adding up to about a mile each session. Team members will also look at how the foal's joints and bones move relative to each other through motion capture. At the end of the exercise program, when the foals are 16 weeks old, team members will perform another CT scan on them to compare differences in bone development. That will be repeated when the foals reach 1 year of age to see if any changes remain. Then the team, under the direction of co-investigator Dr. Mariana Kirsch, will combine all their data to build a computer model to understand how much exercise makes changes and how long those effects last.
And so that would allow us to test different exercise regimens and predict what the outcome would be, and that'll allow us to test a wide range of exercises without actually having to test them in a live horse.
Eventually, she says the model could help them start making individual recommendations for horse owners to give horses better, more resilient bones, whether they're equine athletes or family trail horses.